Hello everyone, ARG back with some more franchise Hockey Manager 9 and today, sometime, we have some Hartford Waiters action last month of 1983. That would be December, of course. We are 12, 9, and 1 and 6th in the conference. As I explained last time out, however, we are the team that has played the least amount of games aside from the Bruins, but the Bruins are dead last, so that shouldn't impact us. So we have a lot of games on hand. It's up to us to win those games so that we can retake our rightful place atop of our own division that is now held by the Quebec Nordiques. We have a few injuries. Randy Kennyworth should be back sometime this month. Rob Ramage is playing hurt. He has since he's been hurt. And Darren Veitch we might be able to see sometime near the end of the month. So that's pretty much where we're at. We need to win some hockey games. Alright, so, well, let's get underway. No, I didn't tailor the trade for Mike Bossy. I would love to, but what I would have to give up for him would probably set us back instead of making us better, as it should with Mike Bossy. Besides, I don't really have problems with my offense. Well, technically I do. We're not scoring as many goals, but what am I going to have to give up to get Mike Bossy, and is it going to be worth it? I'm not sure at this point. So I'm going to be pondering it one more month and wonder if maybe I should do it. I kind of don't know if I want to do it or not. I love Mike Bossy. I would love to have him on the team, but, you know. Alright, let's get underway. We don't play until December 3rd, so we have a couple of days off here. I'm sure that there's going to be some news to read. Oh, looks like the Kings won a game. They sure did against Winnipeg. Look at that. And so David Fenives, I guess is how that's pronounced, has been put on waivers by the Jets. And let's see how our owner feels. Satisfied, try to keep a balance. We should be a contender next year, should be this year. Fans are thrilled and no need to worry for my job. Right, another day off. Right, so Wayne Dillon and Dave Garner have been put on waivers. Right, Joe Mullen extends his assist streak to 8 games with an assist against Buffalo. Coach reports, okay, so those guys are feeling more at home, I guess. Dick Redman has been put on the block by the Flames. And then there's been a trade between the Rangers and the Buffalo Sabres. Perry Miller and the rights to Jean Savard go to the Sabres for Ken Solheim and the rights to Bob Bergloff. So not a big trade by any means. And then we have a trade proposal from the Buffalo Sabres who are offering us Dave Garner, who they just put on waivers for Todd Sturby. So why in my right mind would I go and make the trade for Dave Garner when I can get him for free on waivers? All right. Right, so we are hosting the Blues. St. Louis Blues are having a terrific start to the season. They are 17-7-1. That is pretty good. We have not played the Blues so far, so we're going to take a look at their lineup. Try to figure out why they're so good. All right, so they have Brian Sutter on injured reserve, as well as Blake Dunlop. So neither of those players are going to play this game. Right, and in net they have Don Beaupre and Mike Liut, Brownschild, Lapointe, Micheletti, Smith, Heimer, Affleck, Giroux, Lewis, and Rotacalio and Svensson on the... Wow, they have so many Ds. Then up front they have Gaetan, Duchesne, Klassen, Eklund, Federico, Patey, Zook, Babbage, Curry, Mullins, Sutter, and Lancier. We should be able to beat them. I mean, they have great goaltending. That's a great goaltending tandem right there. But their D is really not all that great. And they have a decent offense. Let's see if we can beat them. I mean, they have a great record, right? So something must be working over there. Alright, so Don Beaupre is going to be in net for the Blues. We're going to go with Jim Martinson. It's a new month, and of course, go Whalers, go. Let's start with a win at home. Let's make the fans happy. And a 6-3 win over a very good St. Louis team. So we are starting on the right foot here. 6-3 victory. We outshot the Blues 35-19. Glenn Anderson was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 3 assists. Mark Messier was the second star with 2 goals, and Dave Poulin was the third star with a goal and an assist. Hey Kel, what's up? 10,558 people in attendance for the game. So you never answered me, or maybe you did and I didn't see. But who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup? Alright, so in the first period, Glenn Anderson opened up the scoring from Peter Stastny and Tommy Samuelson. It was 1-0 Hartford after 1. Then in the second period, the Blues tied the game. Then we scored Mark Messier from Glenn Anderson and Paul Coffey. Then the Blues tied the game again, and then we took a 1-goal lead again. Mark Messier from Ken Morrow and Glenn Anderson. We had a 3-2 lead at that point. Then in the third period, Anton Stastny scored his 10th of the season from Wilf Payment and Dave Poulin. It was 4-2. Blues came to within 1 with a goal of their own, but then we scored 2 more goals. Dave Poulin scored his 10th as well from Gordy Roberts. And then finally, Greg Teberge scored in an empty net from Glenn Anderson and Paul Coffey. 6-3 the final score. We also had a fight between Mark Messier and Rick Lapointe. Matty Hagman converts to left wing. Okay. He was a center all this time. I guess they've put him on the wing. And Joe Mullins' assist streak ended at 8 games against us. We managed to limit him. We're going to advance to the next day. We are playing the next day. Oh, lots of waivers here. So Jean Savard is on waivers. Wayne Biankin, Byron Schott, Rolf Edberg, B.D. Harris, Perry Miller, and Reg Thomas. Alright, so Bill Barber was suspended. He's going to miss 3 games, and our next game is against the Flyers, so we're not going to see him in that game. In a memorable game for Tom Lysak with the Blackhawks, he had a hat-trick against the Nordiques. Well, they do have a really good team. I would say, though, it's pretty rare for the President Trophy winner to actually win the cup. So, we'll see. We will see. Alright. So, Whalers are in Philadelphia to play the Flyers. Flyers are 13-12-1. That's good for 5th in the conference. We are 0-1 against the Flyers. Lost in Philadelphia 4-3 last month, I believe. So now we are going to try and avenge that. We're going to have Steve Weeks in net, and Ed Staniowski is going to be in net for the Flyers. And of course, go Whalers, go. Oh, a nice 6-1 victory on the road here. So what are you up to today, Kel? Do you have school or do you have work? Alright, so we outshot the Flyers 40-15. Brent Sutter was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Brett Hull was the second star with 2 assists. And Matty Hagman was the third star with 2 goals. Right, the Whalers scored 4 unanswered goals in the first period. Yeah, Anton Stastny scored first from Dave Poulin and Glenn Anderson, then Peter Stastny from Gordy Roberts and Paul Coffey. Matty Agman scored from Brent Sutter and Ken Morrow, and then Steve Thomas scored his first goal. I think that might be his first NHL goal from Brett Hull and Peter Stastny. 4-0 Whalers after one. Then in the second period, the Flyers scored, made it 4-1. And in the third period, Matty Agman scored from Ray Neufeld and Brett Hull, and then Brent Sutter from Bo Berglund and Paul Coffey, and it was a easy 6-1 victory in Philadelphia for the Whalers. Alright, great start to the month. 2 wins, 1 on the road, 1 at home. That's pretty solid. Memorable game for Ika Sinisalo. He had 4 goals against the Kings. That is indeed a pretty good game. And then there was a trade between the Oilers and the Montreal Canadiens. Tom Rolston and the rights to Nelson Burton go to Montreal for Craig Levi and Bruce Andrus. And the rights to Bruce Andrus. So yeah, not a big trade there. You still like your job at the local smaller movie theater? I would think that it's a pretty chill job. I never had that job, but I would think it's pretty chill. Oh, the Oilers are offering us something. Michael Wickstrom for Sam Sino. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make that trade. Yeah, that's going to be a no thank you. Well, that's good. It's not everybody that gets to enjoy their, first job like you do right now. All right, so that was a 2-game road trip. We're now in Montreal to play against the Avs. Oh, that sucks. Like, your parents are moving? Or are you, like, moving out of your parents' house and going to go live on your own? Alright, so the Abs are 10, 12, and 5. That's good for 9th in the conference. We are, however, 0-2 against the Abs. We haven't been able to beat them this year, so hopefully that changes right now. We're kind of on a roll right now. Jim Martinson's going to be in net for us. Patrigan is in net for the Abs. Go Whalers, go! Road win, please. Thank you. A 6-3 victory. Oh... So, is it still in Florida, though? And is it going to be easier or harder to go to some Panthers games? Right, so 6-3 victory for the Whalers on the road here against the Abs. We outshot Montreal 39-30. Pretty solid game. Russ Fitzpatrick, first star, 2 goals and an assist. That was a nice trade that I made there. Russ Fitzpatrick has been contributing. Like, he's not a superstar, but he's been contributing. I like that. Jay Wells was a 2nd star with an assist, and Greg Teberge was a 3rd star with an assist. Yes, it is still in Florida. Are you going to be further away from the Panthers? Alright, so Montreal scored twice in the first period, then Russ Fitzpatrick scored from Brett Hull and Marian Stastny. It was 2-1 Montreal after 1. Then in the second period, Russ Fitzpatrick scored again from Greg Teberge and Jay Wells. It was tied at 2. We went into the third period. Anton Stastny gave us the first lead of the game from Ken Morrow, then Glenn Anderson from Peter Stastny made it 4-2. Hab scored, made it 4-3, and then Matty Agman scored 2 power play goals to finish the game. Oops. Sometimes my fingers are trigger happy. First power play goal was from Russ Fitzpatrick and Bo Berglund, and the second one from Bo Berglund and Gordy Roberts. 6-3 to victory. And Paul Coffey is hurt. I would love to have Paul Coffey play an entire NHL season for me without missing any games. He's day to day, but still I'd love for him to not miss any games. All right, so Paul Coffey is hurt. He's gonna miss just a little bit of time. Mike Ballard extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal and 2 assists against the Bruins. Bernie Fedorko extends his point streak to 12 games with a goal against the Buffalo Sabres. And Bill Darlago is out in Vancouver. He's going to miss 4 months with a torn back muscle. That sucks for the Canucks. Darlago was pretty good for them. What about this season? Yeah, it was a point per game. Alright, am I gonna need to do something here? Let's see, let's sim to the next game and then we can. Oh, no problem, man. No problem, yeah. Moving is stressful, that's all I can tell you. I don't know if you moved before. Even, you know, at your age and everything, and even if it's like your parents that are moving, it's still stressful. Like, you have to quit your job that you like, and then you don't know if you're gonna find a job that you like as much and everything. And hopefully that doesn't put you too much further away from school or anything like that. But yeah. Ooh. Devils have put Dennis Ververgaard on waivers. Danny Bolduc is also on waivers, and Rick Chartra is on waivers as well. Great night for John Tonelli for the Islanders. He had a hat trick against the Kings. Ron Greschner is hurt with the Rangers. He's gonna miss 6 weeks. And Bernie Fedorko extends his point streak to 13 games. He had a goal and an assist against the Leafs. We are playing the Leafs today. I have to look at my situation with my deer. I guess Rob Ramage can play hurt. He has so far. But he hasn't played many games because of the injury, but he's gonna need to play now. Yeah, it's not easy. I moved a lot in my life, and I wish I could tell you that, you know, it's always like easy or anything like that, but it's, you know, getting used to a new neighborhood, getting used to like, okay, I want to go to the store, where is it again? Like, there's that aspect. Then, you know, the house feels different. There's new like noises and smells and, you know, things that you're not used to. And I'm OCD about certain things, so that triggers that for me when I move. And, you know, that might do the same for you. I don't know. But you'll get used to it, and hopefully you like the new place. I mean, it's not all negative, right? I'm just saying it's an adjustment period, and it's not always easy. But, you know, you should... that should, you know, settle back into place. All right, so we're going to play the Leafs. Leafs are 14, 10, and 3. So that's a record that's similar to ours. We have not played the Leafs so far, so let's take a look. All right, so they have Joel Quenneville that's hurt. He's not going to play this game. Other than that, they have Allen and Melanson in net. Bruce Driver, Tom Lydla, Tapio Levo, our former player here. How is he doing? Are there 16 points in 24 games? Yeah, I could use that. Kitchen, Lapointe, Stewart, and Wilson on D. Then up front they have Anderson, Bridgman, Lever, Shutt, Dubble, McNabb, Bernie Nichols, Wilson, Boutet, Butler, McDonald, Segeniuk, and Fusco. Not sure how that's pronounced. Alright, let's see if we can continue winning games here. I don't think we've lost so far this month. Roland Melançon's in net for Toronto. Jim Martinson is in net for the Waiters. And of course, go Waiters, go! Another win for the Waiters. A 5-2 home victory over the Maple Leafs. We have outshot Toronto 44-19 in that one. Peter Stastny was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Glenn Anderson was the second star with an assist. And Mark Messier was the third star with a goal and an assist. 10,286 people in attendance for the game. Yeah, I get the feeling, but I don't know where. I don't know where it is that you're gonna be like living. If it's like a smaller town, I will say this: at your age, it kind of sucks to move from like a big city to a smaller city. But when you start to be my age, you start to appreciate, smaller cities for the quiet and everything. So there's that aspect for probably for your parents too. But yeah, a brand new house, so that's awesome. All right, so first period, so that was a 5-2 win at home against the Maple Leafs. Brent Sutter scored first in the first from Matty Agman and Bo Berglund. Mark Messier scored the second goal from Peter Stastny and Glenn Anderson. And then with 6 seconds left in the period, Rob Ramage scored his first goal of the season from Mark Messier and Peter Stastny. It was a 3-0 lead for the Whalers after one. Then in the second period, the Maple Leafs scored twice, came to within one, but then Peter Stastny scored unassisted with 1 second left to go in the period to give us a 2-goal lead back, 4-2 Whalers after two. Then in the third period, Russ Fitzpatrick scored an empty netter, made it 5-2, and that was the end of the game. We also had a fight between Jay Wells and Bob Stewart. And Jay Wells got hurt in that game. That's not good. We're starting to have a lot of injured defensemen. And yeah, you're going to visit often. That's the thing, is that you can, go back and visit and just worry about the spots that you like to go to. So, all right, Jay Wells is 1 to 2 weeks. I'm going to need to do something about that. All right, so Frank Beaton has been put on waivers, so he's not going to be the solution. Matt Naslund extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal and an assist against the Bruins. Doug Riseborough is back from suspension in Boston, back in the lineup. Bob Kelly has reached 1,000 games played in his career, celebrated that with a goal. That was against the Blackhawks. Bob Kelly is 33 and he is a star-and-a-half player. Then there was a trade between the Islanders and the Sabres. Doug Evans and a 7th-round draft pick go to Buffalo for Larry Playfair and Petri Elenen. Still a small trade. Alright, so we have to address the Jay Wells injury. We're going to need to put him on the injured list. Then we're going to need to recall. That's going to be Kitchen again, isn't it? Oh, he's regressed. Is there somebody else? No. He's the closest to being capable of playing in the NHL, so he's gonna be called up. I need for my D-man to stop being hurt. I have 4 D-men that are hurt. Although one of them can play hurt, but like Paul Coffey cannot play right now, Jay Wells cannot play, and Darren Veitch cannot play either. Alright, we have a day off, and then we're gonna be playing at home against the Jets. Randy Coneyworth is almost recovered, and Doug Riseborough has been put on the block by the Bruins. Alright, so Winnipeg is in town. They are 7-19-1, so not a good season in Winnipeg for the Jets. We have not played them this season. Let's take a quick look at their lineup. Alright, so Lorne Stamler not gonna play this game. He's hurt. Grant Fior and Amel in net. Campbell, on D they have Campbell. They have Marois, who's not gonna play because he's suspended. Norwich, Scott Stevens. Conroy, Lay, Maxwell, and Chris Chelios. So at least they have 2 good defensemen, Chelios and Scott Stevens. That's pretty good, even though they're young and not fully developed. That's still pretty good. Fiddler, Lukowicz, Sinisalo, Adams, Curtin, Lemieux, Murray, Steen, Sullivan, Casper, Christian Graves, and Lindstrom up front. All right, Grant Fury in net for the Jets, Jim Martinson in net for the Waiters. Go Waiters, go. A 7-2 victory at home. Pretty good game. Ooh, Grant Fury had a bad one in the system. We scored 7 goals on 28 shots, and Winnipeg had only 18. Dave Poulin was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Brent Sutter, the second star, with 2 goals and an assist. And Ken Morrow was the third star with 3 assists. Pretty good game for him. Not exactly an offensive defenseman. 10,697 people in attendance for the game. Peter Stastny opened up the scoring in the first. That was his 15th of the season from Ken Morrow. And then Bo Berglund from Dave Poulin and Ken Morrow. 2-0 Hartford after 1. We had a few fights. Bill Kitchen and Rick Clay. And then Wilf Payment and Scott Campbell. Then Bill Kitchen scored in the second period from Brent Sutter and Greg Teberge, and then Dave Poulin from Greg Teberge and Wilf Payment. 4-0 Hartford after 2. Then in the third period, Brent Sutter scored his 10th of the season, short-handed from Dave Poulin and Bill Kitchen. Then Dave Poulin from Wilf Payment and Anton Stastny made it 6-0. Then the Jets scored twice, and then we added 1 more goal. Brent Sutter from Ken Morrow and Matty Agman. That was a 7-2 victory, folks. Pretty good game. I'm afraid that Gordy Roberts is going to get suspended, and then I'm going to be fudge-sickled. Yep. That's not good. Alright, so he's going to miss 4 games. Suspension over for Mario Marois. He's back in the lineup for the Jets. Kings are thinking about making a coaching change. You think with a record like that, 326-1. Suspension over for Bill Barber, back in the lineup for the Flyers. Bernie Federico extends his point streak to 14 games. He had a goal against the Red Wings. Butch Goring has competed in 1,000 games in his career. Didn't get a point. That was against the Edmonton Oilers. Butch Goring is 34 years old, and he is a 2.5-star player. And I to remember for Wayne Gretzky, he had a hat-trick against the Canucks. And Paul Coffey is feeling better. I hope he's feeling better enough to play the next game, because the suspension to Gordy Roberts kind of screws me over. Keith Crowder has a great game for the Flyers. He had a hat-trick against the Buffalo Sabres. Mike Bullard extends his goal streak to 6 games. He had a goal and an assist against the Montreal Canadiens. Paul Coffey on the edge of returning. Randy Kennyworth almost recovered, and Darren Veitch has resumed skating. So at least my injured players are doing better a little. Alright, Barry Beck is suspended in New Jersey. He's going to miss 2 games. Dave Maloney is hurt in New York. He's going to miss 7 months. Oof. Oh, I ruptured the bicep tendon. So Dave Maloney's season is over. Paul Coffey is back from injury. That's great. And Randy Kennyworth is almost there. So I think I'm good defenseman wise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah. Yep, we're good. Right, we're going to play in Pittsburgh now. Penguins are 12-15-2. Still a difficult season for them. They are 10th in the conference. We are 1-0 against Pittsburgh. We beat them 7-0 on the road. We are on the road again. Let's hope for a similar result. Oh, he has a 10. Oh, Greg Teberge doesn't even have a 10 in his chosen thing. Okay. Might need to address that in the off season. Alright, so Jim Martinson is in net for the Whalers. Greg Mellon in net for Pittsburgh. Go Whalers, go. Let's stay undefeated this month. We won 7-0 in our first trip in Pittsburgh. The second trip ends in a 9-0 victory for us. So we outshot the poor Pittsburgh Penguins 54-22 in that game. What a domination. Paul Coffey, first of the game with 4 assists. Anton Stastny, second star with a goal and 3 assists. And Greg Teberge, the third star with a goal and an assist. Dave Poulin opened up the scoring in the first from Anton Stastny and Paul Coffey, Mark Messier from Marian Stastny and Ken Morrow, and then Russ Fitzpatrick from Marian Stastny and Greg Teberge, 3-0 Hartford after one. There was a fight between Kurt Fraser and Bill Kitchen, as well as Jack McIllargey and Wolf Payment. Then in the second period, Greg Teberge scored from Paul Coffey and Mark Messier, then Wolf Payment from Anton Stastny and Paul Coffey, and Wolf Payment again is 5th of the season from Dave Poulin and Anton Stastny, 6-0 Hartford after 2. And look how consistent we are, 3 goals per period. And in the third, Anton Stastny scored unassisted, then Brent Sutter from Matty Agman and Paul Coffey, and then finally Mark Messier scored his 15th from Glenn Anderson and Rob Ramage, and we had a victory here by the count of 9-0. Open ice leads to a productive night for Paul Coffey. As we saw, he had 4 assists in the game. And Ray Neufeld improves at left wing. Alright, so we have 2 days off, or 1 day off rather, and we are going to play the Boston Bruins after that. No further action needed for Chicago's Ellingson, not suspended. Bernie Federko's point streak ended at 14 games. He was held scoreless in that game against the Blackhawks. And Randy Cunneyworth says that he's ready. Yep, he is. Alright, so we are going to send Steve Thomas back down. He only played 2 games. Oh wait, can I... Let's make sure we can get... Yeah, we can. I figured we could, but I needed to make sure. And Steve Thomas continues to develop in the AHL. Alright, day off. Alright, Bill Nyrup has been put on waivers by the Oilers. No additional missed time for Lucien Deblois with the Rangers, not suspended. However, Doug Sullivan is suspended for the Rangers, so I guess they played a really dirty game or something. He's going to miss 2 games. And there was a trade between Montreal and the Islanders. Gord Lane for Denis Perez. Another very small trade. Alright, and now we are in Boston to play the Bruins. Bruins are 11-16-2. That's good for dead last in the conference. We are 1-0-1 against the Bruins this season. Let's see if we can beat them. Jim Martinson is going to be in net for the Whalers. Petty Lindbergh in net for the Bruins. Go Whalers, go. An overtime win. Alright, so we keep winning. That's very, very, very good. I needed a good month of December. So a 5-4 victory in overtime. We outshot the Bruins 35-27. Greg Teberge was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Mark Napier was the second star with an assist. And Matty Agman was the third star with a goal and an assist. So Bruins scored first in the first period, then Matty Agman scored his 10th of the season on the power play from Greg Teberge and Bo Berglund, and then Dave Poulin from Brent Sutter and Greg Teberge, 2-1 Hartford after 1. Right, so there was a fight between Willie Plett and Wolf Payment. Then in the second period, the Bruins scored, made it 2-2. Then Peter Stastny scored from Ken Morrow and Mark Messier, and then Paul Coffey from Matty Agman and Russ Fitzpatrick, 4-2 Hartford after 2. In the third period, the Bruins tied the game with 2 goals of their own. There were some fights as well. Paul Holmgren and Bill Kitchen, Terry O'Reilly and Bill Kitchen, and then Tom Rowe and Paul Coffey. And then in overtime, Peter Stastny was the hero with the goal from Greg Teberge and Tommy Samuelson. And there was another fight between Paul Holmgren and Paul Coffey. Alright, so we won this game in overtime. Alright, and we have have a day off, and then we're going to be playing against the Buffalo Sabres. Barry Beck is back from suspension in New Jersey. I'm going to need a quick second. And I am back. Alright, so the Buffalo Sabres are in town with a 14-16-2 record. That's good for 8th in the conference. We are 2-0 against the Whalers. Against the Sabres. We are the Whalers. We are 2-0 against Buffalo. Alright, let's make it 3-0. Jacques Cloutier is going to be in net for Buffalo. Jim Martinson is going to be in net for us. And as usual, go Whalers, go! Give us another Whaley W. A 7-1 victory. Excuse me. 7-1 win at home against the Sabres. We outshot them 31-27. Peter Stastny was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Mark Messier was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Greg Teberge was the third star with an assist. 10,095 people in attendance for that one. Dave Poulin opened up the scoring in the first. That was his 15th of the season from Matty Hagman and Bo Berglund. Then Buffalo tied the game, and then we scored 2 goals. Ken Morrow from Wilf Payment and Brent Sutter, and then Peter Stastny from Bill Kitchen and Mark Messier. 3-1 Hartford after 1. We scored 1 more goal in the second. Peter Stastny from Greg Teberge and Glenn Anderson made it 4-1. And then 3 goals in the third period. Paul Coffey from Anton Stastny and Wilf Payment. Mark Messier from Peter Stastny and Ken Morrow. And then finally Dave Poulin scored from Bo Berglund and Matty Hagman. 7-1 the win. We had a fight between Bill Kitchen and Danny Gare in the third period. So another great performance. So I love how I said at the start of the stream that, you know, we were having some issues with our offense not scoring goals, and now we're scoring plenty of goals. Oh, Rob Ramage got hurt, but he was already hurt, so I don't know what that's gonna do. So now he's day-to-day with just a bruised knee, so he's pretty much on the same timetable that he was. Right, so Ramage is day-to-day, so that's fine. Pierre Larouche extends his goal streak to 5 games, so that goal that he scored made it 5 straight for him. Big game for Rick Middleton in Boston. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Blackhawks. Big game for Mike Bossy. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Rangers. In that same game, Clark Gillies had 3 goals and an assist. Marcel Dion achieved 1,200 points in his career with 2 goals and 2 assists against Pittsburgh. Marcel Dion is 32 and he is a 4-star player. Memorable night for Brian Mullen in that same game. He had 4 assists, and Dave Taylor had 3 goals and an assist. Right, 2 days off, and then we're going to play against the Boston Bruins, which we just played against, and then it's going to be Buffalo again. Wow, okay. Daryl Sutter keeps fans on their feet all night. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Boston Bruins. And no suspension for Detroit's Laurie Boschman, not suspended. Alright, another day off. Jay Wells is feeling better. That is good. Alright, so Bruins are in town. They are now 12-18-2, still dead last in the conference. We pretty much just played them and won the game. So we are 2-0-1 against Boston now. Let's continue winning. Pele Lindbergh in net for the Bruins. Jim Martinson in net for us. Of course, go Whalers, go! Oh, a 9-3 victory at home. So yeah, I complained about my offense. Look at us now. We were outshot 31-24 in that one. That means we scored 9 goals on 24 shots. That's a crazy shooting percentage there. Ken Morrow, wow, he's been on fire this month. He's the first star with 4 assists. Anton Stastny was the second star with 2 goals and an assist, and Dave Poulin was the third star with a goal and 2 assists. 10,373 people in attendance for this game. We scored 4 unanswered goals in the first period. Paul Coffey scored from Ken Morrow and Mark Messier. Then Peter Stastny scored his 20th of the season from Mark Messier and Greg DeBelge. Brent Sutter from Bo Berglund and Matty Hagman. And then Anton Stastny from Wilf Payment and Ken Morrow. 4-0. Hartford after 1. Boston scored in the second. Then Wilf Payment scored from Dave Poulin and Tommy Samuelson. And then Boston scored again. 5-2 the score after 2. Then in the third period, Brent Sutter scored from Tommy Samuelson and Ken Morrow. Then Dave Poulin from Anton Stastny and Ken Morrow, 7-2 the score. Boston score made it 7-3. Glenn Anderson scored from Mark Messier and Peter Stastny. And then Anton Stastny scored his 15th from Dave Poulin and Wilf Payment, 9-3 the final score. What a game. Alright, a great night for Ken Morrow. As we saw, he had 4 assists in that game. Dave Poulin extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and 2 assists. All right. Gordy Roberts is back from suspension. That's great. Brian Trottier has racked up 300 goals in his career. He scored 2 goals against Pittsburgh. Brian Trottier is 27 years old and he is a 4.5-star player. Mike Eves extends his assist streak to 8 games. In that same game, he had 2 goals and an assist. And then we have a trade proposal from the Edmonton Oilers. Ian Duncan for Sam St. Laurent. I think I'm going to make that trade. That guy has a 1.5-star potential. He has okay for his age stats, so I'm going to take a chance with him. I'm not keeping Sam St. Laurent anyway, so let's complete the trade. Alright, Ian Duncan for Sam St. Laurent, of course. Now that I have Ian Duncan, he's probably lost some stats or something. Of course, he's not ready for now. He's 20 years old. I'm sending him in the minors. Alright, and now we are in Buffalo to play against the Buffalo Sabres. Sabres are now 14-18-2. That's good for 9th in the conference. We just beat them, so let's beat them again, I say. Let's go with a win. Steve Weeks in net for the Waiters. Jacques Cloutier in net for Buffalo. Go, Waiters, go. Another win, 3-2 in Buffalo. Alright, so we were outshot 27-22 in that one. Matty Hagman was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Pierre Larouche was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Greg Teberge was the third star with an assist. Alright, so Buffalo scored first in the first period. Then in the second period, Tommy Samuelson scored from Wilf Payment and Mark Messier. That tied the game. And then Matty Hagman scored short-handed from Greg Teberge and Anton Stastny. It was 2-1 Hartford after 2. Then in the third period, Matty Hagman gave us a 2-goal lead from Brent Sutter and Bo Berglund. Then Buffalo scored with 3:11 left to go in the game. But it was too little too late. We won by 1. 3-2 victory. Steve Shutt has a strong game for the Flames. He had 4 goals against the Kings. Suspension over for Doug Suleiman back in the lineup for the Rangers. Alright, and we have a day off. And then right before Christmas, we have a game against the Minnesota North Stars. Bill Nyrup has been put on waivers for the second time this month by the Buffalo Sabres. Red light stays on for Al Seckard in Boston. He had a hat-trick against the North Stars. Mike Eves' assist streak ended at 8 games. He did get 2 goals, though. That was against the Capitals. Strong game for Denis Potvin. He had 4 assists in that same game against the Capitals. Jay Wells is feeling better. Then there was a trade between the Oilers and Sabres. Tony Killen and the rights to Tom Price for Rob McClanahan and Bill Nyrup. Alright, we are hosting the Minnesota North Stars. Now the North Stars have a very similar record to ours, so they are doing really good. They are 29-4, and we are 0-1 against them this season. We are undefeated this month, so I would love to keep that streak going. John Davidson is going to be in net for the North Stars. Jim Martinson in net for us. Go Waiters, go! Oh, our first loss of the month, a 5-4 loss in overtime. I guess we can afford to lose one game in the month. Only one, though. We outshot Minnesota 30-27. I believe that's Brad Maxwell was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Mark Messier was the second star with a goal and 2 assists. And Steve Kristoff was the third star with a goal and an assist. 10,084 people were in attendance for the last game before Christmas. Right, Peter Stastny scored from Mark Messier and Bill Kitchen. Then Gordy Roberts scored on a power play from Matty Agman and Paul Coffey. And then Mark Messier from Brent Sutter and Wilf Payment. Then the North Stars scored. It was 3-1 Hartford after 1. Then in the second period, North Stars tied the game, and then we took the lead again. Paul Coffey scored short-handed from Mark Messier and Dave Poulin. It was 4-3 Hartford after 2. Then in the third period, the North Stars tied the game, and then Steve Kristoff scored in overtime to give the North Stars the lead and the win. Right, there was no stopping Bruce Boudreau. Ho, 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 that's a name that we should be recognizing here if we're hockey fans in 2023. Bruce Boudreau scored a hat-trick against the Washington Capitals. Jay Wells almost back. The Rangers are looking to trade Stan Jonathan. They've put him on the block. And we have a trade proposal from the Buffalo Sabres. They want to trade us Dave Garner for Stuart Smith. I say no thank you. You've put him on waivers earlier. I could have had him for free and I didn't take him. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and advance. This is Christmas Eve. Rob Ramage almost recovered. So I'm starting to get my players back now. Right, this is Christmas. Right, so Rob McClanahan has been put on waivers. Yvon Lambert has been put on waivers. And André Savard has been put on waivers. Looks like the Buffalo Sabres took 2 players from Montreal in that trade and just put them on waivers. Alright, so Jay Wells is completely recovered. That's good news for us. And then Kelly Miller goes to Montreal for Yvon Lambert and Mario Faubert. And Yvon Lambert has been put on waivers. Alright, and I'm bringing Jay Wells back. And I'm sending, where is he? Bill Kitchen back down. Oh, he can barely play anymore. Alright, 3 games left here in the month of December. So today we are hosting the Montreal Canadiens, who just made a trade. So Montreal is now 15-14-6, so they're turning things around. They are now 7th in the conference. We are 1-2 against Montreal, so as you know, I would love to win this game. Pat Regan in net for Montreal, Jim Martinson in net for us. Go Waiters, go. Let's beat the Habs. Oh, 8-2 victory. So the losing streak stops at 1 for us. 8-2 win on home ice against the Habs. We outshot them 34-29. Anton Stachny was the first star of the game. He had 3 goals and an assist. Peter Stachny was the second star with a goal and 3 assists. And Dave Poulin was the third star with a goal and 2 assists. 10,178 people in attendance for this game. Mark Macy opened up the scoring in the first from Peter Stachny and Glenn Anderson. Then Anton Stachny scored unassisted. Then Stachny again, Anton Stachny again from Dave Poulin. 3-0 Hartford after 1. Anton Stachny completed his hat trick from Peter Stachny and Greg Teberge, made it 4-0. Then Peter Stachny scored short-handed from Dave Poulin and Gordy Roberts, 5-0 Hartford after 2. And in the third period, Montreal scored, made it 5-1. Then Brent Sutter scored his 15th from Bo Berglund and Matty Hagman. Then Dave Poulin from Wolf Payment and Anton Stachny made it 7-1. Montreal scored, made it 7-2. And then Tommy Samuelson scored from Glenn Anderson and Peter Stachny. It was an 8-2 victory. Great night for Anton Stachny. As we saw, he had a 3-goal and 1 assist performance. Wayne Gretzky set everything up tonight. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Flames. And Rob Ramage says, game on. And we are now in Quebec to play against the Nordiques. They are 18, 14, and 4. That's good for third in the conference. We are 1-1-1 against the Nordiques. Steve Weeks is going to be in net for us. Gilles Meloche in net for the Nordiques. Go Waiters, go. 8-5 victory. All right, another win. We were outshot, however, in that one, 36-27. Mark Messier was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 3 assists. Paul Coffey was the second star with a goal and 3 assists as well. And Peter Stachny was the third star with 2 goals and 2 assists. Peter Stachny opened up the scoring in the first from Paul Coffey and Mark Messier. Then the Nordiques tied the game. It was 1-1 after 1. Then in the second period, there were a lot of goals. Paul Coffey scored his 10th from Russ Fitzpatrick. Then the Nordiques scored twice. It was 3-2 Nordiques. We tied the game. Brent Sutter from Wolf Payment and Anton Stachny. Then the Nordiques took the lead again. And then we scored twice to take the lead back. Jay Wells from Peter Stachny and Mark Macy. And then Gordy Roberts scored his 5th on the power play from Paul Coffey and Matty Hagman. 5-4 Hartford after 2. Nordiques tied the game in the third period, but then Peter Stachny scored from Tommy Samuelson and Mark Messier. Then Mark Messier from Paul Coffey and Peter Stachny. And finally Matty Hagman from Bo Berglund and Greg Teberge. And it was an 8-5 victory for the Whalers. Matty Hagman extends his point streak to 12 games in that game with a goal and an assist. So we have somebody with a nice little streak going. All right, we have a couple of days off, and then we're going to play the last game of the month at home against the Kings. Oh, look at that. Paul Garner has been put on waivers by the Islanders. Kent Nilsson is going to be out a little bit. He's day-to-day with the Flames. Right, and the Kings are in town. The Kings are 4-31-2. That is really bad. We are 1-1 against the Kings. As we know, we lost 6-2 in LA earlier this season. So hopefully they don't surprise us again. Rick Wamsley is going to be in net for the Kings. Jim Martinson is going to be in net for us. Go Whalers, go. A 4-3 victory. So we lost 1 game the entire month, and it was in overtime. So it could have as well have been a win. Of course, it's not in the standings, but that was that tight. All right, we outshot the Kings 37-25. Peter Stachny was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Dave Taylor was the second star with an assist, and Mark Messier was the third star with 2 assists. 10,890 people in attendance for the game. Kings scored first in the first period. Then Peter Stachny tied the game with his 25th of the season on the power play from Bo Berglund and Gordy Roberts. It was tied at 1 at that point, but the Kings scored again. It was 2-1 Kings after 2. Then Peter Stastny tied the game again from Glenn Anderson and Mark Messier, and then Gordy Roberts scored unassisted, gave us the lead. The Kings did tie the game, but with 1 minute left to go in the game, Wolf Payment scored from Dave Poulin and Mark Messier, and it was a 4-3 victory for the Whalers. All right, Matty Hagman's point streak ended at 12 games. He did not get a point in that game. Wayne Gretzky extends his point streak to 12 games. He had a goal against the Bruins. Don't really care for that. Bob Kelly has been put on the block by the Flyers. All right, and the player poll result. All right, so the best skater is Wayne Gretzky. Hardest shot, Paul Coffey. Toughest, Tiger Williams. Fastest, Wayne Gretzky. Best role model, Ray Bourque. Cleanest, Lawrence Tamler. Controversial, Scott Schneider. Overrated, Jacques Richard. Underrated, Kevin Lowe. Smartest, Bengt A.K. Gustafsson. Toughest goalie to beat, Grant Fuhr. And coach you'd most like to play for, Al Arbor of the New York Islanders. All right, and we're going to turn that to January 1st. All right, top selling Hartford Whalers jerseys for December. Wolf Payment, Mark Messier, Paul Coffey, Peter Stastny, and Darren Veitch. Development report. All right. Oh, Ian Duncan, that guy that I just got, that got some stamina and some face-offs. Don't really care for face-offs for a winger, but... All right. Steve Thomas getting better, that's good. Alright. Yeah, Wolf Payment losing speed. He's deteriorating pretty fast. That's not good. Alright, the top jersey sellers in the entire league. Wayne Gretzky is first, but Wolf Payment is 17th, and Mark Messier is 19th. The case of the Stars missing gloves. Alright, so Gary Lariviere lost his gloves. They're going to be found. Do not be alarmed. The gloves will be found in somebody's bag very soon. Alright, and the players of the month were Mark Howe, former Hartford Whaler that I sent to Edmonton in that mega trade. So Mark Howe and Jim Martinson. Now, Jim Martinson really turned things around this month, and that he is a huge reason why we went with only one loss in the entire month of December. All right, so we are sitting atop of the conference. Look at us, 51 points in 36 games. That's pretty good. That's 4 more than the Islanders, who are atop of their division, and they played 3 more games. Our closest rival, the Montreal Canadiens, have clawed their way back up. At one point, they were dead last in the conference. They are now 4th. They are our closest ones in the division, closest rival. They have 40 points in 38 games, so they played 2 more games, and they are 11 points behind. So I feel confident with our lead there. Unless there's a catastrophe happening, we should secure at least top of the division. I don't know about top of the conference, but we should secure top of the division. Alright, so looking at this here, we can see that by far the worst team in the league is still the LA Kings. They are 4-33-2. I smell a coaching change very soon. As far as stats go, that should look a little bit more solid than it did at the end of the last month, because we scored so many goals in December. Peter Stastny was only a couple points above a point per game. Now he's 51 in 36. Mark Messier is 46 in 36. Dave Poulin 42 in 36. Anton Stastny 38 in 36. Paul Coffey 37 in 34. Brent Sutter 35 and 35, Wolf Payment 34 and 36, and then it kind of goes down from there. But yeah, our offense really has picked it up this month. That's very nice to see. And now in the entire league, the best goal scorer is Wayne Gretzky. He already has 45 goals. That's 11 more than second place Dino Cicerelli, and Dino Cicerelli wasn't a slouch when it came to scoring goals. So yeah, Denis Savard is the best passer. He has 46 assists. That's 2 more than Gretzky and 1 more than Bernie Federico. And the best scorer is Wayne Gretzky. He has 89 points. That's 20 more than second place Dino Cicerelli. So that tells us a lot about how dominant Wayne Gretzky was in real life and is in this save as well. All right. So Peter Stastny is now 12th in scoring with 51 points. All right, we're going to go ahead and save the game. Now, sadly, I have to go, so we're going to go ahead and stop that for now. A really good month, and we just need to continue on our streak here, and we should be all right. But it is a time for me to go, so I want to thank you for tuning in, especially Kel earlier was here keeping me company, and for anybody else that was here and didn't necessarily say anything. Thank you for being there. Now, if you're catching this on YouTube later and you like the video, you know what to do. But for now, it is ARG out. So peace out, folks, and see you all next time.